Kyotera, which is like he's
135 pounds.
Yeah, you just look at this guy and just like oh, this little cutie guy, but this little cutie guy will wreck your world. And then you look at Yuri and it's like, oh, this guy is just nothing but just lift weights. Like, no, this guy would rape you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
When Yuri was in town for the workshop after his fight here in Dallas, when he did Fight to Win, he was helping me drill some stuff, and he did a Darce choke on me.
On you?
On me, bro.
Oh my god!
I almost freaked out of death because it was like Coach will do it and it sucks, right? Some of the other guys at our team will do it and it sucks. When Yuri did it,
it's just like rolling.
It was. I felt like a child. I felt like a child, like how a father rolls with his plays around with his 2-year-old
very gently and everything, just so smoothly.
All of a sudden, he's just yeah, you just do this, and I'm like, huh? Like the squeeze on it was something completely different, and I was like, okay, so that's what jiu-jitsu can be if you dedicate your life fully to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is what's possible. But that's with anything, right?
Right.
Look at a guy like Martin Scorsese. It's like, look at the movies that he makes.
Right.
That's what happens when you dedicate your life to something. Or the brand new movie, which, by the way, I wanted to talk to you about, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, I'm going to go see it this weekend.
Oh, I've heard so many good things about it.
Oh, hell yeah, me too. What it is, it's, Quentin Tarantino, he's a master at what he does. He's a black belt in filmmaking.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, of course it's going to be a great movie. They do know how to put it together, how to pick a story, how to put together a story, how to film it, how to make it come through. The right actors, the right storytellers, the right producers. Dude, it's insane. And you're like, okay, Yuri and Kaio are like the pinnacle of jiu-jitsu in today's world.
Right.
Gordon Ryan, whatever name, right? Michael Jordan, LeBron James. It's like, okay, that's what happens when you dedicate yourself to something. 12 years, 13 years, 15 years of your life, and you're like, oh, you hit that 10,000 hour mark sometimes sooner, sometimes later, but you eventually hit that 10,000 hour mark, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
And it's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
It's funny how you say like the 10,000 hour mark. Now that there's this. So you know who Gary Vee is, correct?
Oh, of course, everybody talks about Gary Vee.
You know who D-Rock is, right?
Yeah.
The guy. So D-Rock, one thing that he posted on his Instagram is like the 10,000 hour mark should also be invested in everything you do in life.
Yeah.
Your loved one.
Yeah.
Like the relationship you have with your parents. It takes 10,000 hours of really really solid hours of really spending time with your parents and develop that relationship with them.
This with anything.
Yeah, and it's just like don't like I just started like realizing I need to invest that 10,000 hour rule into everything that I do. Jiu-jitsu, filmmaking, my loved ones, my friends, my dogs, just everything, so I can really be a master of myself.
So it's you ever read the book of Five Rings?
I've heard about it, and my friends do a lot of references, especially now that I'm like hanging out with. You saw my boss. My boss is a very stoic person. He's recommended me so many books.
So Sun Tzu talks about be a jack of all trades, but a master of one. So because that way you know the way broadly, so you know the way. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically is you do all these things to become good at that one thing.
Right.
So jiu-jitsu, let's take the jiu-jitsu, we both do jiu-jitsu. You get good at jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu is an amazing sport. It's an amazing martial art. And if you want to get professional at it, let's just be, in today's world, you have to start with like 5 to be any good and compete at the world level.
Right.
But at our level, right, you get good at jiu-jitsu, the transition into the workplace.
Right.
The transition into what you do for business, for job. Those lessons that you learn on the mats, those 10,000 hours you learn on the mats, those lessons you learn there translate everywhere else. Translate to your relationships. It translate to the relationships with your boss and how to deal with people, how to look at problem solving in a different way. It's the same reason a lot of like Asian cultures concentrate on math, because math teaches you how to problem solve.
Right.
That's what jiu-jitsu does too.
Right.
You learn how to problem solve with your body.
Right.
And all of a sudden you start, okay, so I can figure out my way out of this dude Daniel's heavy-ass mount.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I can work my way through a simple filmmaking problem. Like, yeah, it's annoying, it's a different issue, but I can apply those same principles mentally.
No, that's so true. Like, even today, like, yesterday, I was going through a problem, like, editing and just, like, trying to create this vision that I have. So in my job, I'm a producer. I'm a filmmaker and producer and director. I'm a little bit all over the place right now because it's a startup company. And so, we are just outsourcing whatever we can. So like I'm taking several roles. And so one of the things was like I was just like trying to see. We have an editor in the Philippines that I work with at nighttime. So that's where like I'm always at night working at times.
Yeah.
Well, like mostly like 3 days out of the week I'm working 3 at nighttime, making sure he understands what my vision is, what I'm trying to edit. And I'm just going through this like I have no idea how to explain this to him. Like it works like the story works fine in my head. However, that's just me though. How am I going to put this in a paper so the editor can edit this out and it comes in the way I want it? And I'm like, okay, I'm frustrated enough here. Let me take a step back, relax, analyze where I'm at, what am I doing wrong, and then execute from there. And it's like when you had me in that top mount, it's just like I was just pushing, but I wasn't doing anything. And so you like, okay, relax, do this, zombie trap the arm, hook it, oompa, roll, boom, you're out there. No matter how big the person is, if you kids just keep pushing up, then I'm just going to be on a higher mount to you, where my elbows or my knees are on top of your armpit sockets, and it's almost impossible for you to get out at that point, especially a guy your size. So it's just like take a step back. And so like jiu-jitsu has like helped me a lot of these things. It's just like, okay, like all these problem solving. It's like, okay, what am I doing right now that's wrong? And just be more self-aware. I think that's one of the greatest things that jiu-jitsu has helped me, just being more fucking self-aware of myself.
You become so self-critical in the jiu-jitsu journey, right? Like you start saying, okay, yeah, like let's say you have a good sparring day and you have a bad sparring day. You never blame the other person if you have a bad sparring day. It's always you look in the mirror. You're like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
What didn't I take advantage of? What was my missed opportunities? Where did I fall asleep? And I think having that attitude, at least for me, especially when it comes to the business side of what I do with the podcast and now the stand-up, it's like, yeah, it's self-accountability. It's you can't control others. I can't control what you do to me. Like I can control myself. So we're sparring, and you decide to choke me via rear naked choke. I know the defense. It's my if I didn't defend it on time, whose fault is it? If my fault or your fault?
It's what coach says, like if you're in a position right there, you kind of screwed up a couple times to be in that.
Way before that, and it's just those lessons. You're like, oh, they apply to life too. You know, it's like I use a lot of jiu-jitsu in my marriage. Believe it or not, every day. And it's not in a bad way. It's just, you know, if my wife is unhappy because of X or Y reason, or she's had a bad day, instead of coming straight at her, I'd be like, hey, baby, like, what's wrong? ¿Qué te pasa? Why you have a bad face?
¿Por qué me estás actuando así? ¿Qué te hice?
Yeah, so sometimes, don't get me wrong, I'm married 4 years, so I don't have it all figured out.
Right.
But I have enough figured out to tell you that is not the way to do it.
Oh, no, trust me. Like, I go to my parents' house, and, like, sometimes I'm, like, walking in, and, like, Daddy, I was like, oh, that's my cue. Let me go back. So, like, I feel like marriage is one of those things that's going to take a while to even figure it out. Bro. My parents have been married for, like, 20 years now?
There's no way to success. It's just, you get better with time. And, you know, you learn how to talk to your spouse, just like you learn how to spar. You learn how to, you do boxing, too. And I say, like, you know who you can go hard with in boxing, that they won't hurt you.
Right.
You know who you can't go with.
Right.
You know, if there's a guy that's day one-ish, you're like, no, let me not, because this guy doesn't know the technique well enough to have control. He'll throw an overhand right, and then I'm going to end up, you know, possibly knocked out because he got lucky. He probably won't land it, but he can get lucky.
Right.
Which is how this black guy.
Right.
I wasn't in a bad position, but the dude spazzed out and he hit me, and I'm like, crap. You know, now I got a black guy. So it is what it is, man. It's you learn everything, and jiu-jitsu has so many applications of how to do that. And I tell everybody, jiu-jitsu isn't for everybody, but it's for everyone.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. Like, anyone can do it, but, like, can you do it?
No, you can. I think Coach says it best. It's for everybody on day one.
Yeah, I agree with that more. Yeah,
it's for everybody. It's for everybody on day one. It's for everybody who's left on day 2. Mm-hmm. So it's for everybody, but not for everybody. It's like for everyone, but not for everybody.
Right. No.
So it's an amazing deal, man, and I love that. I think it's still recorded. Yep, there we go. So, man. So as we, man, I love this conversation right now, but I lost my train of thought.
So jiu-jitsu is for everyone, but not for everyone.
That's right. How are you using jiu-jitsu for your filmmaking? Like now, I know people. You don't have anything that's out that Do you have anything that's originally yours out there that they can consume?
Not at the moment right now. It's just like I've been coming most of my so one thing that I did, it was really, 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 really fucking stupid of me to do, is like a lot of my old stuff I took it down.
Why?
Because I just thought it wasn't up to par what I was doing.
Who cares?
Exactly. But like when I first started doing this like full time, I was just like, no, I want to portray this version of myself like a pro, and it's just like, why do I do that? Like,
have you listened to our some of our first podcasts?
Yes, and this is like some of the things like I've preached to other people. It's just like, don't worry like how like what you do later, because like what you do now could be really good, but 5 or 10 years later, it's never going to be the same because you just develop better. And for some reason, I just pulled the trigger and I deleted everything. But I'm working on some like short films right now that are coming out really good. So this should one should be coming out next week. So
that's good, man.
But when going back to what you said, how I've like approached jiu-jitsu into my filmmaking, it's like going with a game plan, but also expecting that it will most likely never go the way that I plan into it.
It's like
when I roll with Nugent, one of my good friends, Nugent, like
killer by the way.
Oh man, Nugent is a killer. If you're hearing this,
if he decides to come back to the gym, she will be a killer.
If you're hearing this, Nugent, you roll like a bitch.
I didn't say that.
It's our inner joke. we one time when I was just rolling with Cuba, and Nugent was like, so teach me what Cuba taught you, and like how to talk shit. And so as he was like trying to get me into an armbar or triangle, I just kept whispering, your jiu-jitsu is shit. But it's just fun play between me and him. We have that relationship. But going back to what I was saying, it's just like when I'm like focusing or trying to roll with Nugent, I'm like, okay, this guy's really good with a double leg takedown or a single leg takedown. So I don't want to keep a far distance because he will go for that. However, I have all this strategy, and it ends up not going that. I end up have to like pull shrimp or pull guard or he gets me on side control or knee on belly, and I'm like, I'm trying to spaz out. Like, this is where I didn't want to end up being, and I had this game plan not to be here, but I ended up being here, so now I have to like learn to go with the flow. Same thing with like filming. Like I have this storyline, so in filming you have to have a storyline. Storyline is key. On top of that, you have to have a shot list. A lot of times what like beginner filmmakers end up doing is like they end up just running and gunning it. Is what we call it, where they just shoot whatever, and they like, for example, like that's one of the things I've learned really quick. And when I lived in New York, when you step out, like everything looks just like a straight out of the movie. You know, you feel like you're in a movie. You know, you feel like anything you can shoot will become gold. However, you try to create a story without a shot list, and you're just shooting all these things, and then you're just trying to put the story together, and that's just not how it works. Yeah, and so like I ended up just like really being focused on that. However, knowing that anything could come up, I can draw my camera and like it's not working. I don't have enough memory card. I don't have enough battery, or something just came up, and it's just like learning how to go with the flow. Even within plan.
It's the same thing with podcasting, bro. Like our first 6 episodes, it was just us trying to cover the news without covering the news.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then it just sounded clunky. You know, now we do more outlining work, we do more intro work, and in my base computer, I was actually recording out of your computer because you were gracious enough to see that my computer's not working very well to let us record out of yours. So it's going to be a little different this time, but we still plan out our deal. We have a first segment, second segment. We cover certain things that we'd like to do as a team, you know, and things that he likes to cover, things I like to cover. But it's what's amazing. It's that you learn that as time goes on. And my brother, he's a voiceover actor, and he does Spanish commentary for wrestling shows, and he's almost like dude straight up. Doesn't matter if it's a wrestling show, a TV, a movie. Everything requires some sort of pre-planning and outlining to get quality product. It was like you can't just turn on a mic and record.
Right.
It was like you need to take it, be a professional. Take time, prep it. Even if it's 3 hours of prep, at least you prep something and you're going to get 3 hours worth of quality work. Or if it's 20 minutes of quality work. And it's something that I've learned doing this podcast. It's like, hey, I've done a podcast before that was very politically based, and it's still out there somewhere in the ether. I don't know where it's at anymore. I thought I took it down, but I guess people are still finding it. Nothing is true. Nothing is true.
It's so scary.
It is what it is. I mean,
I remember the
I've
age.
evolved from those
You,
days.
you remember the age when we were little? We used to do crazy shit, and then we'll find out because no one was recording.
Yeah.
Or like anything was like saved.